Oh, welcome to another episode of the Growth Compass. Shout out to our sponsor senders. If you want to do cold email deliverability correctly, you hit the link in the description. But without them, it would not be possible to interview cool people doing cool things like Kevin. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Man, it's going awesome. This is uh this is really so looking into what you're building, looking into what you're doing. I think you're on uh the cutting edge of a particular use case of AI. So I'm really interested to hear about your experience with that and why you're doing what you're doing. But just for everybody else, if would you be able to give a quick intro of yourself and what you're building?
Yeah, I'm Kevin. We're doing voice AI agents for businesses. I grew up in Germany, born in Canada, and now based here in San Francisco in the United States. So we currently do more than 100,000 calls per day, automate in some cases up to 70% of repetitive phone calls, whilst maintaining 90% customer satisfaction. Currently serve mid-market and enterprise companies. And our top three use cases are automating customer service calls over the phone,
Okay.
automating lead qualification, and yeah, lastly, also like operations use cases.
Okay, cool. Well, before we get to all those use cases, I got questions about all three of them. Is were you living in the States before starting the
Yeah,
company? How long ago?
I did a study abroad at in Pittsburgh while I was
Oh,
studying in university.
oh, nice. Well, how long you been building Leaping AI for?
Around 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years.
Cool. So, what were you doing beforehand? What was
I
your
studied
professional journey
computer
between
science. I
graduation
studied
and?
computer science, and then I worked in management consulting at BCG for 3 years.
Oh, nice. So then what about, so is this the first company you started?
Yeah, yeah,
So what let's see. Okay, two questions around that. The first thing is what inspired you to get into this space?
yeah.
The AI, the call automation stuff.
Yeah, so I studied AI in like in college, so I was always very interested in AI. Second, I would say that I have had past experience with call centers. So, for example, I worked at Amazon, where there was a huge call center of people trying to help customers do product returns, answer questions, and I saw how repetitive the job sometimes is, but also how important it is for for companies to have excellent customer support. So I thought, hey, this is a great chance, to use some new technologies like Gen AI to bring innovation into the space.
So you said you studied it, studied AI.
I studied AI, yeah, computer science.
So what is that? What does that look like? Like you did research into it. You did like you learned how to build the models. What does that
Yeah,
look
I
like?
did courses, but also I did research, and this was 2014 to 2018. This was years before ChatGPT came out,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
earlier stages of AI.
So what was the outlook on AI back then when you were doing that research and all of that?
Yeah. So back then, I think AI was definitely not as creative as it is right now. It was mostly you give it some training data and you teach it like a certain skill, and it would be able to repeat that essentially behavior. Um, but it wouldn't be able to come up with new things like the current wave. Yeah.
The direction that it has gone, is it does that match with where people thought it was going back then?
I don't think so. So people always assumed blue collar jobs were the ones that are going to be automated, and white collar jobs are kind of safe from AI. And right now, you see kind of the opposite being the case, where you know you have essentially white collar jobs being heavily automated and not blue collar jobs. Yeah.
Okay. When did that is was it ChatGPT that changed that outlook?
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT really made it transparent to everyone that essentially now AI is being able to be creative.
So then you went into, after doing that research and looking at that, you went into management consulting. How did that translate to, or how did that relate to your interests at the
Not
time?
really directly. I think management consulting was basically just helping me to become better in business, I would say. So I studied CS, I didn't know anything about business. And I would say management consulting helped me to just get into the world of business.
So was that? I mean, after being so technical in undergrad, was it? Did you graduate and you said like I am interested in business? I'm interested in starting my own company. That's why I want to go into business, or did that just seem like the job that the opportunity that was available to
Yeah, I
you?
was always interested in the intersection of business and technology. And so
Okay.
coming from technology, I felt like management consulting would give me a great way to essentially learn about business.
Okay. But it wasn't necessarily within the lens of I'm going to start my own business one day.
No, no, no.
Oh, nice. Sehr gut. Sehr gut. So then your experience doing management consulting at you reached a point where you said, um, I want to get back into the world of technology. I want to get into AI, and there are a lot of ways to do that. But why was it that starting a company was your decision, your choice of how to get back into that?
Yeah. I think just starting a company is a great lever because essentially you can transform your visions into reality. And also now having done a company, I just enjoy being like an entrepreneur more than like being an employee somewhere.
Okay, but yeah, again, I mean, I think it's just so interesting when people decide when they're not necessarily around entrepreneurship, or they haven't had aspirations their whole life to do entrepreneurship, or you just jump into it. So, how did your expectations of what running a company looked like compare to your actual experience
Yeah.
doing it?
In a way, it's harder, but then in a way, it's also easier. So it's easier in a way where I thought it would just be the struggle life every day. And it is like kind of the struggle life every day, but at some point you get used to it. So you kind of get used to the life. But it's hard in a way where many things are just more uncertain
Yeah,
and you're figuring things out because entrepreneurship by definition is creating something that doesn't yet exist. And so it's just more uncertain of how to heave that into reality than if I were to work at a traditional company and it would be very clear of how things would develop.
yeah, yeah. Well, talk to me about the very beginning then. So, did you overlap your time? Like, was it 6 months uh, before leaving BCG that you started building your company? Did you want some type of validation before you left, or were you done with the corporate world and
Yeah, I
definitely
was
wanted to
pretty
start a
much
company?
done with BCG. Yeah.
Okay, so then talk to me about the beginning days of Leaping AI. Did you immediately apply to like an accelerator for funding? Did what were the early days like?
We actually did. So I applied to YC like
Immediately?
yeah, immediately. But unfortunately
Wow.
we weren't able to get in. It's actually not as easy as one would expect. Like the acceptance rate is super
I
super
would
low.
think I would think it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's really hard honestly, right? So we got rejected two times essentially before we did manage to get in.
What changed between
I think we just had
being two?
more traction and also we had moved to the US at that point to build the company.
Uh, okay, so then walk me through the difference between when you guys didn't have traction and when you guys did have traction. Like what was the difference? You guys were doing more outreach, you had more use cases.
I mean, we're
What does
just in
traction
business
mean?
longer. Like you get to know potential customers, and yeah, like over time, deals happen. Just by being there.
Yeah, so who were your first customers?
So our first customers were these wine merchant companies from Germany that
Wow.
wanted to use us to automate their inbound customer support call center
How did you get in contact with them?
through an intro. Yeah,
So is your personal network or a professional network?
yeah, it was my personal network. Yeah,
Okay, so was that considered a pilot, or was that like legitimately
it
your
was definitely
first?
a pilot, and then we gradually transitioned to essentially a full time contract. Yeah.
That's Hey, congratulations. From
Yeah.
2 years ago. So okay, so how long was that uh first client before you went to your second one or transitioned to a
Yeah,
full-time
almost
client?
almost like 6 months. Yeah, it was a long time.
Wow. So where were you based?
I was based in Germany at the time before moving
You're
to
based
US.
in Germany and you
Yeah.
weren't working at BCG, or you were?
I was not anymore. No.
Wow. So you'd gone full into it. You got your first. Did you have a team or was it just you?
It was me and my co-founder. It was like a very small team.
Wow. So was it your co-founder from the beginning? Like you guys both said, we want to do this, want to go into this
Yeah,
together, or
yeah, yeah.
did
We
you?
were like it was from day one essentially.
Wow. Okay. And so okay, so 6 months into okay, so that's about a year and a half ago. So 6 months into it, what were the early hurdles that you guys ran into with that wine merchant that you had to fix?
Yeah. So I guess just building the product. I mean, we didn't really have a product, honestly.
Okay.
And so just having a product, like just building the entire thing, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. So then after 6 months, what did it mean for you to have a product that you felt like you could go and
Yeah, I mean, we had
sell?
something that essentially was able to talk to customers in a human-like way and kind of replace some of the activities of a call center. And so this is when we decided, hey, it could make sense for other customers. Yeah.
Okay, so it was more so you were judging the readiness of a product by the ability for your product to speak like a human, have valuable human conversations.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and did that just take time training? Did that just take training?
Yeah, it just takes like setting up the AI in the correct way, but also, engineering decisions and how to build a great AI agent.
Okay. So 6 months into it, you guys are like, wow, we got a product. It's trained. We have a successful relationship with a client. How did you go about getting your second and third?
Honestly, like in ninja ways. So we met them at conferences or we cold called them. So there was nothing really scalable about the first customers.
Okay. So cold calling and
Going to like
conferences.
industry conferences, yeah, to build like
Yeah. Okay.
personal relationships.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
So
if I think
so
about it, like the largest two customers we have, they're both from personal relationships. Yeah. Sorry, from going to conferences.
okay. Hey, that's an important concept right there. Going to conferences is a very successful growth tactic, I guess. Well, so given that fact, would you label going to conferences in your industry for your product as something that's a scalable growth channel for you?
No, because there are only finite conferences. Also, many conferences don't lead clients at all. So I don't think it's that scalable.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just curious if there's something specific about your use case, your customers that made that
Yeah.
uh, valuable for you. So okay, well I appreciate you walking through. So how many customers, clients would you say you have
Yeah,
now
10 to
roughly?
15 right now.
Wow, look at that. And so did the growth strategy, did the approaches change with do you use your own product for your own outreach, or
I,
does it not
I, I
apply
did,
to
but
your
it's not that helpful. Honestly, what I'm using now heavily is just to try to get investor intros. So especially a
gotcha?
lot of like the companies we want to work with, they're owned by private equity. So using our investors to try to get to their investors and
Uh,
getting an intro like indirectly is something that we're exploring right now heavily.
gotcha. That's really cool. So you mentioned there's three main use cases for Leaping AI. You said that it's customer success is the first one. The second one is lead qualification, and the
Yeah.
third one is internal operation calls.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you had your first, I don't know, three clients, let's say, were all three of those use cases something you were thinking about, or did that evolve over time?
It evolved over time, honestly. So we started with customer support, we added lead qualification, and then we added ops. Like it evolved over time.
So when did lead qualification come into the picture?
So there are many like insurance call centers, like for Medicare and stuff like that, especially like in Florida. and they essentially use voice AI to like be able to handle calls at scale, like a lot of calls, and be able to quickly identify whether customers are qualified or not, let's say for Medicare, right? And then we route the call to a like a licensed insurance broker, let's say.
Whoa. Well, so at what point did that become something that you saw as a use case?
Like last year, yeah.
Oh wow. So then the internal operations use case, when did that come about? Also more recently?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how did that one come about?
It's like people we knew in our network reaching out. Yeah.
And asking for that functionality?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, bigger picture, Kevin, because I think this there's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about AI and the different use cases, capabilities, and I think you have an interesting perspective given how deeply you understand it and the fact that you are actively, putting these solutions into the market. So, can you talk about? I think the easiest one, which is what you guys started on, which is the customer success angle. How many people? How many companies are trying to enter this space using AI
Oh, a
for
lot.
customer
It's very
success?
competitive. Yeah.
So then, the first question I have is, what is the difference between a company investing in, like, how easy is it for one of your potential clients to just implement an AI solution for customer success themselves? Like,
It's
what's
very hard
special about outsourcing it to
because there are
you?
a lot of like technologies you have to stitch together, from the speech to text to the large language model to the text to speech to the telephony. Like there are many components essentially that you have to stitch together to make it work. So it's not trivial, I would say.
Well, so how many companies do you? Because I guess in my own experience, I do. I guess for a couple of years, I've been interacting with robots.
Yeah.
Like for customer success, I think the chat bots overall are better than the phone, the phone bots. But like as far as the spread goes, like what differentiates all these startups that are getting into the space, like including yours? Is it just the quality of your technology, or is there something
I
else?
would say now it's kind of being able to show that you have already successfully done several similar customer projects. Because at the beginning, like everyone's building with the same technologies, but over time, as you build more features, right, you might go into different product directions that other companies are not going into. Yeah.
So, and the example of that is that the application of the sales qualification, or the lead
Yeah,
qualification,
the
and
lead
also.
qualification, for example. Yeah, just doing that very effectively, like in healthcare, while being compliant with everything. Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk about, is the space of lead qualification, is that smaller than the space for AI implementation and customer success?
I would say it's smaller. Like the largest one is definitely still customer support. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, can you talk about how lead qualification, from a technology perspective, how that differs from what's required of an AI in a customer success
So I think for lead
scenario?
qualification, like you have to make the AI be very fast and very specific to the lead qualification questions that the customer wants. And you definitely need to send the data somewhere to your customers. And you need to be able definitely to efficiently do call transfers, like, for example, a warm transfer, right? Where say, hey, I just qualified this lead and they're interested in this insurance. Like, hey, licensed insurance broker, like, can you take over, And this is sometimes not required in customer service. Yeah.
So is it so if I understand correctly, the customer service thing is in one container, and the lead qualification thing brings it outside of that. And outside of that one conversation potentially connects it to outside vendors.
Yeah, I mean, you can also connect like a customer service call to like another party, let's say a human colleague who can further help customers with something that the AI couldn't help with. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think I think you being like you said, from my perspective, not being inside of it, it seems like a very competitive space. So growing inside of it seems really difficult. What personally has been impactful to you about this journey with your company?
I would say just seeing the vision come to life, seeing customers being interested in something we do, like paying for it and getting value from it.
Have you grown your team outside of the two of you?
Yeah, we're like a team of 7 people right now.
Well, congrats! That's crazy. When did that? How recently did that happen?
Like in the scope of last year. Yeah.
Man, congrats! That's really amazing. Bringing additional people onto. I mean that's just such a significant change in culture and lifestyle in a business. So that's really awesome. So uh, as far as how competitive the space is, you mentioned a growth tactic that you guys are using at the moment is to have warm intros into your prospects, investors, to then be introduced in that way. So how are you going about? Well, let me ask this: as far as your team goes, is anybody specifically dedicated to growth, or is all
Yeah,
product
it's
related?
myself and also I hired a GTM lead. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So what types of approaches are you guys using at the moment?
Mainly just outbound outreach. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How's your experience been with that?
It's difficult, especially now that there's so much, AI based outreach. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, well, that's why I think it's especially interesting, when companies like you guys are doing
Yeah.
outreach because you deeply understand AI's application. So, do you currently use AI in your outreach?
No, we don't.
Okay, so is it low volume, highly personalized, or is there some level of
Yeah,
automation?
mostly. Yeah.
What is the tech stack that you guys are using?
LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and then I also use like a application called Happenstance to essentially be
Cool.
able to query my network with natural language.
Interesting. So what is your experience with that stack? Are there any difficulties you're running into? Anything you wish you could be doing more?
Not really, no.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, so I got two questions that I love to ask everybody, and I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And the first one is, out of all the things that you're doing at the moment, I mean, specific to outreach, because that is really difficult. What is the largest hurdle that you're facing at the moment, and how is it an opportunity?
Honestly, just brand awareness. I think we don't yet have great brand awareness. Yeah. I would love to
Okay,
fix that. Like, I would love for us to be known as one of the leaders in the space.
cool. Well, how do you like? How are you doing anything to approach that, or is it just not a priority at
We're
the
working
moment?
with a like marketing agency to be able to like improve on our SEO. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then lastly, because it is so difficult, there's so many things that you spoke to that are difficult. What inspires you?
Just keep going, Um, building a big business and making it, not being worse than everyone. Yeah,
But
just
yeah,
being
Kevin, like you keep going. What inspires you to
yeah,
keep going, man?
just just a game, just a game.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been great. If anyone has been listening is inspired to keep up with your journey, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, visit us on our website leapingai.com, and there's a web form where you can reach out if you're interested.
Cool. Well, Kevin, I appreciate your time, man. I'm invested in your guys' journey. I think you guys have become a market leader, and I'm excited for an update. So I appreciate your time.
Great, thank you, man.
You got it. All right. Great, man.